Welcome to 5 More Minutes, useful videos in about 5 minutes that support the teaching and learning of all students. I am your host, Shelly Moore. Today's episode is called, We Can Do Hard Things. Okay, so one afternoon, I was meeting with some parents. A mom comes up to me and says, Shelly, so I know that you're a big supporter of strengths, but I don't know, does that mean we just don't work on things that are hard? Because life is hard. My kid doesn't like to read because it's hard. So do we just never read? Whoa, I said. Thank you for asking me that question, because that is not what strength-based teaching and learning means. Now, I know that we've talked a lot about strengths, but does that mean we only work on things that we're good at? No, absolutely not. Strength-based teaching and learning means that we start with what we can do, and then we use these strengths to work on things that are hard for us. When I grew up though, these hard things, they were called weaknesses. But is that really what they are? I mean, I have a really hard time waking up in the morning. Does that mean I'm weak? Language is important, and I felt like we needed a better word to describe what we can do, but things that are hard. And maybe they'll be hard forever, but they're still possible. What's that called? So I called one of my mentors, Faye Brownlee, a matriarch of inclusion, and I asked her, Faye, what do you call those things in your life that are hard? Are they weaknesses? Oh, Shelly, no, she said. Hard things are definitely not weaknesses, because actually weaknesses are often things we can't control. For example, a broken ankle, she said. Once you break your ankle, even with all the physiotherapy and rehabilitation, it will never be as strong as it was before you broke it. Your ankle's weak. But if you only focus on the fact that you have a broken, weak ankle, we're just reminding ourselves about how strong it isn't. That's not very strength-based at all. Well, then do we just avoid using our ankle? Just avoid things that are hard, I asked. Oh, Shelly, no, she said. Hard things are so important for us to work on throughout our lives. But these aren't weaknesses, they're stretches. You see, stretches hurt. They hurt really bad, especially if you haven't done them in a long time. But here's the best part. Faye reminded me that the more you stretch, the stronger you get. Stretches, yes, of course, I love it so much. And it's actually a really great way to rehabilitate a broken ankle by stretching and building the muscles around the weak area. But then I immediately thought about all the hundreds of IEPs that I've written in my life. Did I focus on weaknesses or did I focus on stretches? So often we focus on what kids can't do instead of focusing on what is hard to do. And you can imagine, if we over-focus on trying to fix things that are out of our control, it's really easy to give up and just want to quit. This totally reminded me of my own experience in school. I've always had a really hard time writing. Every year I'd be pulled out to work on my writing by focusing on my writing. It was awful. I felt broken. I wanted to quit, and I did. I remember telling my teachers, I can't write. My brain, it's filled with kangaroos and squirrels and cats, and they're running around, and my hand, it's like a sleeping turtle. I've never felt like my hand could keep up with my thinking. Even today, writing is a challenge. I used to think it was a weakness, something I couldn't do, but I've realized I can write. It's just hard, but I can do it. But do you know how I know? I know that I can write because now I know and use my strengths. I love talking, I love visuals, and so I use those strengths to figure out how and what I'm gonna write. It helps me get better at my writing. It stretches me. And the more I write, the stronger at writing I get. Sometimes it's a fine line between aspects of ourselves that are just part of who we are and can't change, and aspects that we need to get better at over time. You see, strength-based teaching is not just about building our strengths, but harnessing our strengths to build our stretches. Now, I just need to figure out what strengths I can harness to get better at waking up in the morning. Okay, your turn. What are your strengths? What are you good at? But now, also think about what in your life is hard. Things you can do, but that are difficult. Because it's okay that it's hard. We can do hard things. And so can our students. Okay, parents, this is a really great conversation to have with your kids too. Absolutely talk to them about their strengths, but also talk to them about things that are hard, because it's okay that it's hard. And then we can also have the conversation about how do we use the things we're good at to help us with our stretches. This is strengths-based learning. As always, thanks for watching. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on social media, and we will see you next time. Bye!